So I'm Margaret Back. I'm the Preservation Projects Manager for the Newport Restoration Foundation, and we're talking about 34 Thames today, which is one of NRF's over 80 properties throughout Newport, Middletown, and Portsmouth, and one of the 70 properties that are rented by our tenant stewards here in Newport. 34 Thames Street was purchased by NRF in 2002. It was also restored privately by a private homeowner as well in the early 1960s. So although it was restored in the same period that NRF was restoring our own portfolio of properties, we know a little bit less about this restoration, about what work was completed, about what fabric may or may not have had to be replaced for maintenance or repair reasons. Now that we're restoring it for the first time since 2002, and since some minor repair work was done in 2011, we're kind of uncovering new aspects of the house that we hadn't known from the 1960s and possibly from even pre-1960s. We're working with Heritage Restoration, a Providence-based organization that we're really excited to be working with, who have that sensitivity to work with historic buildings. It's what they do. As they kind of have been taking off layer by layer of this house, replacing clapboards, replacing shingles, have been able to identify older materials from more maybe 1960s materials and have a history to themselves, and also not only a history of the restoration organization that may have worked on the house, but the means and materials and methods that they used at that time.
I'm Rob Cagnetta from Heritage Restoration in Providence, Rhode Island, and we are helping the Newport Restoration Foundation work with 34 Thames Street, which is the building behind me. I see these projects as sort of a once-in-a-generation sort of intervention on a building, where you're trying to sort of understand sort of everything that's been happening to a building over many years, decades. With this approach on this building, we're doing our best to preserve and maintain a lot of the exterior finishes, the trim work on the building, while being a little more comprehensive in others where there's been complete failure. So far, what we've done to the building is sort of maintain it, right? And so you're doing some siding replacement, but you're also doing some repair work. Sort of that next phase is going to be sort of more of a major intervention, right? Now you're trying to correct something that has slowly been degrading over time. So this next step, I think, in uncovering the rafter system and being able to sister the rafters and then put a new roof on it, you become that history, like you become that major history, right? Like any work we did to the front of the building, you're not going to be able to say, oh, well, this is done in 2024, because there really isn't anything indicating other than nail. But now that we're going to put up LVLs, and now that you're going to use bolts and things like that, even if all the documentation were to disappear, someone can look at the stamp on the side of the LVL and say, oh, this was manufactured in January of 2025. Now it almost becomes more important than just the maintenance stuff. This is now allowing this building to last for another couple centuries.